I'm a hopeless romantic. On our wedding day, my husband was with his one true love. Despite that, I gave him my all and stood by him. Then, in our second year of marriage, his true love was dying. He said to me, "If you really love me, give her your kidney." I was stunned and immediately called the police. Damn it, just because I said I'd give you my heart and soul doesn't mean I actually want to get my kidney cut out. 1. Gu Beiqing's long-lost love has returned. He, who hasn't been home in half a year, has surprisingly come back, dressed in a sharp black suit. He looks polished and pretentious. After seeing me, he coldly and heartlessly threw a divorce agreement and a bank card on the table. "Sign it, and these 10 billion are yours." With red eyes, I looked at him for a long time, my face filled with sorrow, and I uttered that classic line, "Gu Beiqing, how ruthless you are." He let out a cold laugh and shot me a disdainful glance. After playing out the scene, I signed the divorce papers with a desolate expression, tearfully accepting the 1 billion. 2. Yes, I have been reborn. In my past life, I was a love-struck fool under a spell. Only after being reborn did I realize that I had been living in a book. I am the unfortunate heroine of a tragic romance. The male lead is my ex-husband, Gu Beiqing, a ruthless and powerful CEO. He was cold-blooded and ruthless, indifferent to everyone, but gentle as water to his childhood sweetheart. It wasn't until I lost my sight and a kidney that he realized his childhood sweetheart's true love was actually me. A bolt from the blue. Overwhelmed with regret, he began his relentless pursuit, resorting to force and coercion. Ugh, what an idiot. 3. Right after the divorce was finalized, Gu Beiqing called me. "Good, the plot is moving along. His beloved Lianer is sick, and they need my kidney to save her." He ordered me to go to the hospital immediately. "What if I refuse?" I asked. He launched right into one of those legendary, domineering CEO lines. "Woman, I can give you anything you want, except love." I quietly spat out the ice cream in my mouth. "Thanks, I'm thoroughly creeped out." Then, he sneered coldly, "I suggest you not refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Your family and friends are still alive. As long as you obediently donate a kidney to Lianer, I won't harm them." For truly a man who has touched the entire criminal law, he really is law-worthy. I turned around, recorded, and reported to the police. The call was made in the morning, and he was arrested that very afternoon. Talk about efficiency. As a domineering CEO ruling over his business empire, Gu Beiqing was experiencing this kind of novelty for the first time. I heard that when he got arrested, he was utterly questioning his entire existence. He even called me from the slammer, absolutely furious. The tycoon DNA is hardwired into his bones. The moment he opens his mouth, it's enough to make your skin crawl. "Damn woman, you're playing with fire." I hung up the phone in exasperation and blocked him. My mom always told me not to play with fools. 5. I was just trying my luck. To my surprise, in this world full of bugs, there actually exists someone who can arrest Gu Beiqing. I immediately went to visit that police officer. The police officer was handsome and upright, though he looked a bit familiar, as if I had seen him somewhere before, but for the moment, I couldn't recall it. He also seemed visibly surprised when he saw me. It was during our conversation that I learned Gu Beiqing had already been released, since there were only verbal threats and no actual harm caused. He was only fined. However, during their investigation, they discovered that Lianer was not actually sick, and the need for a kidney transplant was a scheme concocted by the doctor and Lianer. After learning the truth, Gu Beiqing went to the hospital with a grim expression. I feel deeply regretful. Looking up, I was horrified to see that the police officer's expression was even more regretful than mine. "Well, I think I've found an ally." 6. The young officer seems to be Gu Beiqing's sworn enemy. Since both of us aimed to see Gu Beiqing sewing close behind bars, we exchanged contact information. The young police officer encouraged me to report any information to him promptly. I enthusiastically grabbed his hand and assured him I definitely would. My future happy life depends entirely on him. Just then, Gu Beiqing unexpectedly returned. He watched the scene, his face ashen with the look of a man caught in the act. Glaring at me, he roared, "Damn it, woman, stay away from him." He stood across the street, seething with impotent rage, and the light was red. LMAO, no one even cares about us. The young officer chuckled and couldn't help asking me, "Does he always talk like that?" I nodded in total agreement and muttered under my breath, "Yeah, he's always been hilarious." Gu Beiqing watched us chatting away as if he wasn't even there, then sneered and roared, "Woman, I gave you a chance." Without even checking if the light was red, he started crossing the street like a madman. I immediately reported, "He ran a red light." The young officer paused for a moment, then said, "I'll call the traffic police right now." A minute later, Gu Beiqing's face was dark as he was stopped by a traffic police officer for a fine and lecture. 7. While he was being fined and lectured, I quickly slipped away. In the 36 strategies, running is the best. The young officer's name is Li Shuyan. Soon after, I got the follow-up on how Gu Beiqing got stopped by traffic police. The traffic police made him learn a lesson by punishing him for running a red light. Besides the fine, they specifically required Gu Beiqing to post a video on his moments. Finally let him go after the likes reached over 100. I heard that when Beiqing Gu left, he looked dazed and his face was gloomy, as if he had experienced something that changed his life values. I suddenly realized that I had only blocked Beiqing Gu's phone, not his WeChat. Curious, I opened his moments. The first thing I saw was a video, accompanied by a caption, "I want this video to get over 100 likes in 3 minutes, alright then." Very domineering CEO style opening the video, it showed Gu Beiqing with a face like thunder. He took a deep breath, steeled himself, and then began to speak with great difficulty. "Hello everyone. I'm Gu Beiqing. Today, I was fined for running a red light on XX Street. I now deeply understand the seriousness of this matter and sincerely apologize. There are countless roads, but safety is the top priority. Ignoring traffic rules brings tears to your loved ones. I hope you can all learn from my shameful example. Never run a red light. Let's all strive to be 5-star citizens." Me, after reading it, I realized for the first time that this bug-ridden world could actually be so reliable. I immediately blocked Gu Beiqing on WeChat and sent a message to Li Xuyan, giving my strongest approval for their upright and principled actions. 8. The next day, Gu Beiqing showed me the true meaning of his wrath. My parents lost their jobs and were evicted from their rented home. My younger brother, who was in high school, had his leg broken and was expelled for fighting. My best friend Li Cha-Cha, who was also a celebrity, was directly frozen out. Gu Beiqing couldn't reach me, so he directly threatened my parents and Li Cha-Cha, saying that as long as I didn't go to him to repent and beg, they wouldn't have a peaceful day. This was what Li Cha-Cha told me. She earnestly advised me, "Xiao Ku, this is your fault. Although Gu Beiqing divorced you, he still has feelings for you. How could you flirt with another man in front of him and betray him? You even called the police to have him arrested. I know you love him and find it hard to accept Bai Lianer's return, but you can't do such extreme things. Listen to me. Just go to Mr. Gu, admit your mistake, and apologize. He won't be angry and will let you stay by his side. After all, you're just the daughter of a nanny, far inferior to Bai Lianer's status. Being able to stay by his side as his lover is already a great opportunity." 9. As a woman betrayed and deeply in love with Gu Beiqing, I cannot accept that he has other women. I screamed hysterically at Licha, "Tell Gu Beiqing that I will not back down. Is it just about hurting the people around me? I'm not afraid of him. Let him bring out whatever tricks he has. As long as Bai Lianer is by his side, don't even think about me going back. Even if he kills all my family and friends, I will never return to his side." Licha choked, took a deep breath, and then tried to speak gently. "Listen to me." I broke down and said, "I won't listen, I won't listen, I won't listen." After shouting, I quickly hung up the phone and skillfully added all of Licha's and my family's contact information to the blacklist. Hilarious, those weren't my family at all, they were Bai Lianer's. My so-called bestie, Licha, was nothing more than Bai Lianer's little follower. 10. Bai Lianer and I were born on the same day. Bai Lianer's biological mother, my adoptive mother, was actually a nanny for the Bai family on the day we were born. Our adoptive parents, not wanting their biological daughter to live in poverty, pulled off a seamless switch, akin to the prince and the pauper tale. Over the years, my adoptive parents have treated me with constant abuse and torment. As for that cheap brother of mine, he got what he deserved. He was arrogant and unruly at school, already a little punk by the time he started high school, so it served him right to have his leg broken. Besides the true and false heiress drama, the whole White Moonlight affair was also incredibly melodramatic. At the age of 18, I accidentally saved Gu Beiqing, who had been in a car accident after running a red light. Yes, in the world of the domineering CEO, there are no traffic lights, and they have been suffering from traffic violations at that time. Gu Beiqing was sent to the hospital and remained unconscious, so I took care of him for a day and night. As a result, while I went out to eat, Bai Lianer claimed the credit. From then on, Bai Lianer became his cherished White Moonlight. This is just ridiculous. 11. Gu Beiqing was extremely angry at my defiance at that moment. Bai Lian's eyes mysteriously went blind. It just so happens that it's a perfect match for my corneas. Having learned from past mistakes, Gu Beiqing no longer threatened me directly but instead began to ruthlessly suppress my adoptive parents, my so-called brother, and Licha. He sent people to the Chiao household, where they beat my adoptive parents and my brother half to death. Now they lie bedridden, on the brink of death. As for Licha, he threw her into a nightclub, forcing her to work as a hostess. The nightclub was owned by Gu Beiqing and was often involved in illegal activities originally. I had no idea about this, but Bai Lianer, the story's #1 White Lotus character, was deeply distressed upon hearing of their plight, so she reached out to me. Lianer was utterly disappointed by my heartless actions. Her voice was filled with sorrow and contempt, each word tearing at the heart. Xiao Ku, are you some kind of cold-blooded monster? They've suffered so much because of you. How can you just go on living your life without a care? Doesn't your conscience ache? Do you really have to see them dead before you're satisfied? I pressed the record button and replied with equal sorrow, where are my parents and Li Cha-Cha? Did Gu Beiqing really do something so terrible to them? Lianer thought I had finally cracked and was going to save them. Her tone softened a little as she said, heartbroken, yes. Then she told me their address with a grateful heart. I thank you for being there. I excitedly said thank you and then hung up the phone. Li Shuyan, you've got work. Crack down on pornography and illegal activities. Your first-class merit 12. Li Shuyan took his team straight to the nightclub for a vice raid. I stood by the entrance, my pockets stuffed with sunflower seeds, watching the commotion. Before long, I saw my good friend, Li Cha-Cha, being led out in handcuffs, looking utterly devastated. It's my old friend Li Shuyan leading the way. Along with Li Cha-Cha came an oily middle-aged fat man. Oh, this guy looks familiar. Isn't that a famous director? The famous director roared angrily. Who called the police? The famous director and Licha were both well-known figures, and as soon as they appeared, many people recognized them. Everyone was stunned by the scene, and then the rapid clicking of cameras began. Licha was on the verge of breaking down. When she spotted me in the crowd, her eyes lit up as if she had found a lifeline, her face filled with excitement. She was Lian's sidekick, and the two had exchanged information, probably thinking that I couldn't bear to see them suffer. So I came to plead with Gu Beiqing. I know, it's my turn to perform. I quickly stuffed the melon seeds back, rushed over to grab Licha's hand, and looked at her with red, worried eyes. Cha-Cha, are you okay? I heard you were being coerced, so I called the police. You weren't harassed by this fat pig, were you? Immediately, Licha's face froze. She widened her eyes, looking at me in disbelief, and exclaimed sharply, you called the police? I nodded vigorously. You don't need to thank me. We're friends. After all, if you're in trouble, I'll definitely help you. The renowned director beside her immediately turned livid, shouting angrily, Licha, you bitch, so it was you behind this. You wanted the lead role in my next film, so you came crawling into my bed. You dare to set me up like this. Humph. Don't even think about making it in the entertainment industry anymore. The onlookers were full of curiosity, excitedly starting to record videos. Licha felt a wave of dizziness, almost vomiting blood. 13. After apprehending Li Cha-Cha, Li Shuyan and I went to find Gu Beiqing. Gu Beiqing was at the hospital at that moment, keeping company with the blind Lianer. There was a gap in the door to the hospital room. Before going in, I peeked through the crack in the door. Lianer stared with vacant eyes, her hands flailing about in distress, her face etched with anxiety. Beiqing, where are you? I don't know if she's truly blind, but she sure looks like the blind Ziwei searching for Kong back in the day. It's just a shame Gu Beiqing didn't pull the low move Kong did, moving what Ziwei was leaning on and sending her sprawling, but instead, his heart aching, he took her hand and said, Lianer, I'm right here. I looked slightly regretful. Lianer's eyes were red, tears streaming down her face. Beiqing, will I never see you again? Gu Beiqing's expression was fierce, but his voice remained gentle. Lianer, you will get better. I won't let you stay blind forever. If your eyes can't be cured, I'll make everyone pay for it. Gu Beiqing's domineering declaration was as ruthless as ever. I couldn't help but grasp Li Shuyan's hand and say earnestly, Captain Li, you must investigate this dangerous individual thoroughly. Li Shuyan gripped my hand firmly in return and replied with equal gravity, don't worry, protecting the people is our duty. I pushed the door open and stepped inside first. The moment I crossed the threshold, Gu Beiqing saw me, his face instantly darkened. He let out a cold sneer, woman, you came after all. TCH, your mouth says no, but your actions are quite honest. I almost choked on my own saliva. I'm sorry. As the heroine in a domineering CEO's abuse story, I still haven't gotten used to his way of speaking. Watch your words, I said sternly. We never had that kind of relationship. Gu Beiqing sneered, finally figured it out and agreed to donate your cornea to Lianer. Woman, I told you, as long as you behave, I won't mistreat you. Me, no, I'm here to arrest you. Excellent. Gu Beiqing still hasn't realized he's about to get sent back to prison. He's even still fully immersed in delivering his domineering CEO lines. Fine, I'll schedule the surgery for today. Woman, beg me, and I'll make you suffer less. 14. He had barely finished speaking. Li Shuyan, standing behind me, could no longer bear it and stepped forward into the ward. He walked up to Gu Beiqing with handcuffs in hand, his face serious as he said, please come with us. Gu Beiqing finally noticed Li Shuyan's presence. He seemed to be struck by some unpleasant memory, nearly Jumping out of his skin, his expression shifted into a complex mix of emotions. Dark, brooding, and utterly terrified, he roared instinctively, "Damn it, you again." After a long moment, he composed himself, staring at the object in Li Shuyan's hand. He let out a cold sneer, his gaze dripping with contempt. "It's clear that this man who has practically touched every article of the criminal law still hasn't realized the gravity of the situation," he sneered. "Officer Li, I didn't threaten her today, nor did I run a red light. Why are you taking me in?" With a click, both of Gu Beicheng's hands were cuffed. Gu Beicheng raged impotently. "Damn it, man, I gave you a chance. Let me go." Li Shuyan shivered in disgust, his expression subtly shifting for a moment, and he instinctively took 2 steps back. However, he never forgot his mission. After a pause, he spoke gravely. "After investigation, you are the boss behind a Times nightclub. We just discovered an illegal prostitution case there, and the involved parties have been arrested. We suspect you are the mastermind. Please cooperate with the investigation." I raised my hand and said, "I report that he also sent people to destroy my parents' shop, beat my parents, and broke my brother's leg. He's clearly a seasoned criminal. I suggest life imprisonment." Gu Beicheng angrily said, "Damn it, this is slander." 15. Gu Beicheng was once again taken away in handcuffs by Li Shuyan. By Lianer, who had been pretending to be blind on the hospital bed, was stunned. She could no longer keep up the pretense. Hurriedly getting out of bed, she cried out anxiously, "Beicheng, Beicheng, where are you taking him?" Gu Beicheng was still worried she might bump into something. Frowning, he said, "Lianer, don't worry about me. I'll be back soon." Then, he shot an angry glare at Li Shuyan. "Let go of me. I just need to say a few words to her. Then I'll go with you." Li Shuyan glanced at Gu Beicheng, then at me, who was following behind them enjoying the drama. He said with exasperation, "By the way, we looked into it for you again. Bai Lianer's eyes are perfectly fine. This whole illness was a setup she arranged with the doctor, the same one from last time." Bai Lianer was utterly thunderstruck. A true domineering CEO can never tolerate being deceived. Gu Beicheng was deeply shaken by the truth, his eyes bloodshot. I curiously watched the scene, ready to hear him unleash harsh words on Bai Lian. The next moment, he spoke through gritted teeth, "Damn it. This scoundrel has repeatedly deceived Lianer. I absolutely won't let her off." I rolled my eyes and looked away, hopeless. Gu Beicheng is the one with the love-struck brain, isn't he? Even after all this, the rose-colored glasses for Bai Lianer remain intact. 16. To my disappointment, Gu Beicheng, as the male lead of the novel, still has a bit of a cheat code. Despite being handcuffed and taken to the police station again, he was eventually released. The nightclub was indeed involved in illegal activities, but in the end, it was the nightclub manager who confessed voluntarily. As for the incident where he beat up my foster parents and my so-called brother, Gu Beicheng's assistant took responsibility for it. Finally, Gu Beicheng's right-hand man ended up behind bars, singing the blues. After being lectured and having several of his companies seized, Gu Beicheng left. It said that upon returning, in a fit of anger, he sent Balian's attending doctor to Africa to mine for gold. 17. My repeated calls to the police had driven Gu Beicheng into a furious rage. He automatically interpreted all my actions as proof of my undying love and desperation to stay with him. In his mind, I was resorting to these bizarre antics just to get his attention, hoping to win him back and remarry him. That's right, a real domineering CEO is often just that self-assured. So, Gu Beicheng sought me out with a dark expression and sneered a warning, "Woman, your methods of getting my attention are indeed unexpected, but no matter what schemes you concoct, I will marry Lianer. You keep testing my limits. Let me show you what happens when you provoke me." Next, I once again faced Gu Beicheng's wrath. However, with Li Shuyan by my side, all he could do was rage impotently. He didn't dare to do anything to me for now. He could only create financial crises for me, my family, and my friends. No company nationwide dares to hire me, which sounds terrifying. The only downside is, I still have that $1 billion breakup settlement. LMAO, he has no idea how amazing it is not having to work. The only ones truly broke and struggling to put food on the table are my adoptive mother's family and Li Cha-Cha. 18. Life was incredibly tough for my adoptive family. Unable to find me, they had no choice but to turn to Bai Lianer. In the end, my adoptive parents were deeply prejudiced, favoring sons over daughters. They treated me poorly, but they weren't exactly fond of Bai Lianer either. They swapped the babies back then with a single goal, to ensure their biological daughter would grow up as a wealthy heiress, someone they could later turn to for financial help when in need. So they went straight to her, revealing Bai Lianer's true identity and the truth about how I was the one who saved Gu Beicheng. Bai Lianer initially gave them money. Unfortunately, her foster parents' greed grew insatiable, demanding more, and and threatening to expose these two incidents if she didn't pay up. Bai Lianer had had enough and decided to use Gu Beiqing's influence to send them to Africa for mining. What a filial son of the modern era. 19. Today is the day Gu Beiqing and Bai Lianer get married. Bai Lianer called me yesterday, inviting me, her ex-wife, to attend her wedding with Gu Beiqing. To make Gu Beiqing and Bai Lianer happy, I went out of my way to put on makeup that made me look pale with dark circles under my eyes, and I wore a set of clothes that looked like cheap, knockoff street vendor goods. On top of that, I planned to bring Bai Lianer's family along as a surprise, so they could all be reunited. None other than her own father, mother, and crippled brother, the very ones she'd shipped off to work in the African mines. Oh, and that poor, unfortunate doctor from back then too. I spent a fortune to get those four back from Africa. They just landed today. The four of them walking together looked like a band of beggars, filthy, skin and bones, with hollow, vacant stares. You could really see just how much those mining days had taken out of them. 20 leading people to the wedding venue. Bai Lian and Gu Beiqing saw me in this state, then looked at the four beggars following me, and were momentarily stunned. Their appearance was so peculiar that even Bai Lian didn't recognize them. Even the other guests couldn't help but whisper among themselves, probably wondering how four beggars managed to sneak into Gu Beiqing's wedding, where he, a man with an entire business empire, was the groom. Simply unbearable. The lobby manager quickly tried to kick the five of us out, but Bai Lianer stopped them. She smiled gently and said, "They're not intruders. She's Beiqing's ex-wife, and I invited her to the wedding. Those might be her family members, probably here to join us for the meal. No need to stop them. Let them take their seats." The guests praised Bai Lianer for her kind heart and noble demeanor, truly worthy of being the only daughter of the Bai family. Meanwhile, they looked at me with disdain, whispering insults, saying that I came to sponge off others and even brought my whole family, utterly lacking in class. Gu Beiqing gave me a satisfied look, knowing how miserable I had been since leaving him, and the potent man was quite pleased. At that moment, a sudden turn of events occurred. My crippled brother beside me cursed, "Bitch, I'd rather die today than let you live," and lunged at her. Bai Lian's eyes widened in shock. "How could you?" It was clear she had recognized her brother. Before she could finish her sentence, she was slapped. Then, Bai Lianer's biological parents, faces twisted with rage, rushed forward and began beating her. Chaos erupted instantly. Gu Beiqing shielded Bai Lianer, ordering security to pull them apart, while roaring at me, "Damn you, you vicious woman, how dare you have someone lay a hand on Lianer? I won't let you get away with this." A lock of Bai Lianer's hair had been torn out, and 2 red handprints marked her face. She now huddled pitifully in Gu Beiqing's arms, her complexion deathly pale. The adoptive parents and their family were pinned down by bodyguards. Gu Beiqing declared furiously, "Send them to Africa to work in the mines." The 3 of them immediately shuddered, and even the unlucky doctor next to me shrank behind me in fear. I thought to myself that these people couldn't be sent away again. I had promised to hand them over to Li Shuyan, ensuring Gu Beiqing's third arrest, so I quickly called Li Shuyan in secret. After hanging up the phone, I noticed my foster mother wiping her face with a wet wipe, revealing her true identity. Madame Bai recognized her as the missing nanny and widened her eyes in surprise. The adoptive mother glared at Bai Lianer with bitter hatred and said, "If I had known you were such an ungrateful wretch, why would I have taken such a huge risk back then to secretly switch you with the Bai family's eldest daughter? If you won't let me live in peace, then you won't either. You are my own biological daughter, not some Bai family young lady at all. And one more thing." She looked at Gu Beiqing and declared, "Mr. Gu, the person who saved you back then wasn't my daughter Bai Lianer at all, it was Chao Ku." It was like a bolt from the blue. Everyone present paled, exchanging uneasy glances. Gu Beiqing's eyes turned bloodshot. He abruptly released Bai Lianer, his face dark with fury as he strode up to me and demanded sharply, "Is everything she said true?" I glanced at Bai Lian's terrified gaze and slowly began, 7 years ago, on Times Road, you ran a red light and got into a car accident. Gu Beiqing staggered a step, his eyes filled with the usual expression of a male lead from a funeral home drama: regret, pain, sorrow, joy, and the anger of being deceived. "Sorry, I didn't see any of these as described in the book." Isn't it a bug for a single person's eyes to show so many emotions at once? All I saw was him, eyes red, saying, "Why have you never said a word?" Me, how the hell should I know? It's this goddamn plot that won't let me say it. After learning the truth, Gu Beiqing's emotions spiraled out of control, and he even fantasized about pinning me against the wall, red-eyed and grabbing my waist, trying to kiss me. I was filled with terror. Fortunately, Li Shuyan appeared just in time and cuffed him. Usually, when I see Li Shuyan, he is always very calm. It's unclear if it was Gu Beiqing's wild actions this time that scared him, But his face turned a bit dark. Gu Beiqing glared furiously at Li Shuyan, both shocked and enraged. "Why is it you again?" Li Shuyan said sternly. "We suspect you are involved in a human trafficking case." Then, with a wave of his hand, he ordered the men behind him, "Take him away." 21. The wedding was called off. The Bai family took me and Bai Lianer to the hospital for a paternity test. Soon enough, the results came back. Bai Lianer wasn't the Bai's biological child. I was, upon learning the truth. Mrs. Bai was utterly devastated. She held me, sobbing uncontrollably, and promptly sued my adoptive mother's entire family in court. Consequently, my adoptive father and mother, who had just fled back from Africa, were arrested and thrown behind bars before they could enjoy a single day of peace. I was then taken back to the Bai family and began my new life as a wealthy young heiress. The guests who had sneered at me for being poor at the wedding were completely dumbfounded. As for Bai Lianer, she's been busy these days in a love-hate tangle with her lame younger brother. To my regret, although Li Shuyan received his first-class merit, Gu Beiqing managed to pin the blame on a scapegoat and got himself released. Not only that, but he's also been standing guard at my door day in and day out, putting on a whole tragic love story act. 22. As soon as I opened the window, I saw Gu Beiqing standing outside the gate, completely drenched by the rain. I couldn't help but sigh. This rain is even heavier than the day Yiping asked her dad for money. When Gu Beiqing saw me, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he slowly uttered, "You little troublemaker. What am I supposed to do with you?" I was instantly startled, and with a loud slam, I closed the window forcefully. Outside, Gu Beiqing was still shouting, "Damn it, I think I've fallen for you." This godforsaken crematorium plot is seriously making my skin crawl. Looks like it's time to find a man to elope with and speed up this crematorium plot. In my past life, the second male lead I eloped with was the chief physician who treated me after my eyes were gouged out and my kidneys were removed. But since I wasn't the one getting my eyes gouged out or my kidneys harvested, I never got the chance to meet this attending physician. Who should I turn to advance the plot? I racked my brains, pondered long and hard, and finally posted a personal ad on my social media. Wealthy divorcee with no kids seeks a handsome second husband. DMs open. To my surprise, Li Shuyan actually reached out to me. He said he's already 27 years old, and due to work, he's never had a girlfriend, let alone a suitable marriage partner. Now, his family is pressuring him, and he has a good impression of me, wanting to give us a try. Hearing this, my eyes immediately lit up. After all the calculations, isn't Li Shuyan the most suitable one? He's not just handsome and morally upright, he's also the only person who can keep Gu Beiqing in check. In my past life, that second male lead was no match for Gu Beiqing. He was knocked out in no time, and I ended up being dragged back by Gu Beiqing for a whole torturous love affair. Marrying Li Shuyan is a different story altogether. Gu Beiqing simply wouldn't get the chance to drag me into his toxic romance. He was just taking advantage of me, and the next second, my husband would catch him. Perfect. I couldn't wait to tell Li Shuyan, "Captain Li, I'm very satisfied with you. Can we get our marriage certificate today?" Li Shuyan was taken aback. "Isn't this a bit too fast?" Afraid the prize would slip away, I quickly said, "Not at all, not at all. Feelings can develop over time." So, Li Shuyan and I hit it off right away. We got our marriage license, took a photo of it, posted it on social media with the caption, "First marriage was a bust, second time's the charm, found true love." After a moment's thought, I decided to take Gu Beiqing off my block list first. Time to stir up some trouble for that law-breaking jerk. Sure enough, just 2 seconds after I sent it, Gu Beiqing replied instantly, "Damn it, you're my woman, I'm warning you, don't test my limits." 3 minutes. I want all the information on this man. Gu Beiqing, will make sure he's wiped off the face of the earth today. I replied excitedly, "Li Shuyan, the one who arrested you yesterday, hurry up, go get him." But then, there was no reply from the other side for a long time. Is that it? Even the legal drama CEO can't cut it. I looked disappointed and promptly dragged Beiqing Gu back to the blacklist. 23. Who knew? I still underestimated Gu Beiqing, the man who had practically touched every law in the criminal code. Even Li Shuyan, the man who left a deep impression on him, couldn't stop his criminal path. Just as I was about to move in with Li Shuyan and start cohabiting, he actually led a group to break into the Bai residence and kidnapped me. Yes, he heard that I was seeing someone behind his back, got furious and started acting crazy, straight into a scenario of forced confinement. This is utterly absurd. At that time, Bai's parents were being held in a corner by the bodyguards. Gu Beiqing strode up to me in a black suit, his polished shoes gleaming, his face dark with anger. 24. Suppressing the excitement within, I glared at him with a face full of anger. "Gu Beiqing, what do you think you're doing?" He gave a cold laugh, tilting my chin up. "Woman, Do you really think you can escape? From today on, you are mine. I want your eyes to see only me. I forbid you to smile at any other man. Then, he simply picked me up, carried me back to the Gu residence, and locked me in a room. He confiscated my phone and even tried to force himself on me. Luckily, I had come prepared and brought a stun gun and a voice recorder with me in advance. I zapped him right then and there, then glared at him furiously. Gu Beiqing, I'm married to Li Shuyan now, we're divorced. Gu Beiqing lay stubbornly on the ground, gritting his teeth and saying, woman, don't provoke me. After a moment, he finally got up with the help of the wall, then let out a cold laugh. Li Shuyan. Heh, you'll hear about his death soon enough, I instinctively retorted. Impossible, Li Shuyan is the bug of this world, the only one who can catch Gu Beiqing. How could he die so easily? I said it was impossible, but I couldn't help feeling a pang of panic in my heart. Damn, this book stars Gu Beiqing. Don't tell me he can really do whatever he wants, running wild without any consequences. Gu Beiqing sneered at my rebuttal with disdain. In this world, no one can defy me, but the very next second, a bodyguard rushed in, flustered and panicked. Mr. Gu, Li Shuyan burst in with people, accusing you of kidnapping his wife. He's coming to arrest you. Gu Beiqing almost twisted his ankle, his face darkened, and he widened his eyes in disbelief. I heaved a deep sigh of relief inside, then couldn't help but marvel. I never expected the CEO's comeuppance to come so quickly. He didn't even get to show off for a minute. 25. Gu Beiqing tried to resist, even going so far as to attempt to assault an officer, but Li Shuyan took him down in no time. Gu Beiqing did indeed send someone to kill Li Shuyan, a truck driver. Li Shuyan's car was crushed, but fortunately, he wasn't in it at the time. The truck driver was apprehended by Li Shuyan himself. Being new to the job and lacking mental fortitude, a few pointed questions from Li were enough to get him to spill that Gu Beiqing was the one who gave the order. Perhaps the plot has finally reached its climax, with both human and material evidence now in place. Even those subordinates who had previously taken the blame have turned against him, and Gu Beiqing can no longer escape. This lawbreaker has finally received his just punishment. The day Gu Beiqing was sentenced, my consciousness began to drift away. I glanced at Li Shuyan beside me, as a cascade of images flashed through my mind, and then, it finally hit me. Holy crap, this is all just a game extra. After waking up from the game, I still had a look of shock on my face. I instinctively turned my head and saw Li Shuyan sitting in the game pod next to me. He woke up at the same time as me and was smiling at me. It's the year 2080. I'm a hopeless romantic, and Li Shuyan is my boyfriend. We grew up together as childhood sweethearts. There's only ever been one man for me in my whole life, and that's Li Shuyan. My favorite thing is spending every single day glued to his side. My best friend is a game developer. Not long ago, she created an anti-love addiction game, claiming it could cure people of being obsessed with romance. During the testing phase, she specifically invited me to try it out. I never expected that once I entered, my over-romantic mindset would prevent me from completing the game, forcing me to reload from a save. If this keeps up, I might be stuck in the game forever, and my best friend is getting really worried. In the end, I had no choice but to ask my boyfriend, Li Shuyan, to enter the game and bring me back. And that's how the following story unfolded. As soon as I opened my eyes, my best friend rushed over and asked with concern, Xiao Ku, how are you feeling now? I gave her a reassuring smile. I'm okay. Then I glanced at Li Shuyan beside me, batted my eyelashes, and said, thank you for never giving up on me, darling, you're so sweet. My best friend looked at me, then at Li Shuyan, and let out a long sigh. Looks like my game was a total flop. It still needs some work. Li Shuyan grabbed my hand, gazing at me affectionately. Xiao Ku, will you marry me? I almost reflexively raised my hand and slapped him, shouting angrily, get lost, I'm never falling for love again. Men, back off. Li Shuyan bestie. Oh my god, my game is a hit. The end. That's all for the first story. Don't go away. The next one is even more exciting. While tidying up my husband's desk, I accidentally found a file folder. Inside were over 200 train tickets, along with his consultation records for the same patient. Filled with deep heartache, it turns out that my husband, from the age of 50 to 70, would leave the house without fail every 15th of the month to accompany the white moonlight he had once missed. Light with the hands that wrote papers, he treated her unspeakable private ailments, and with companionship and love, he alleviated her depression, becoming her savior. Redemption was her only light, and I, unknowingly, was his steadfast support for a lifetime. I did the laundry, cooked, served his parents, and raised a son and a daughter, essentially an unpaid, disrespected live-in maid. I never once let him lift a finger around the house. Now, the housekeeper is about to go on strike. With the Mid-Autumn Festival approaching, My son called to say he'll be coming home this year with his wife and grandson, and my daughter has already bought her train ticket home on ordinary days. It's just my husband Li Yanliang and me at home. He's a medical professor who was rehired by the hospital as a consulting specialist after retirement. Although he's not as busy as he was in his younger days, he still often can't make it home for meals most of the time. I just eat alone this time. The kids are bringing their grandchildren back, so I got up at dawn to go to the market and bought a lot of their favorite snacks and fruits. After sorting the snacks and putting them in the cabinets, I felt the house was a bit messy, so I couldn't sit still and started cleaning the living room and every room, until I tidied up my husband Li Yanliang's study and accidentally knocked over a thick medical record. Yanliang had always disliked me touching his work files, so I quickly bent down to pick them up, but countless train tickets slipped out of the file. I held my breath, puzzled as to why there were train tickets in the medical records. Boldly, I emptied the contents of the file onto the table, revealing hundreds of train tickets scattered across it. The passenger was none other than my husband, Li Yanliang, with whom I had been married for 35 years. As I opened the medical record book, the man's bold and powerful handwriting stabbed me like a knife in the chest. June 15, 2003, her condition was already severe. How could one endure to such an extent? It truly breaks the heart. March 15, 2004, Jiang Min was much better. She no longer struggled to talk about her illness and began to open up to me. From a medical perspective, this is a good thing. On May 15, 2008, due to the Wenchuan earthquake, I needed to support the nearby disaster areas, and loyalty and righteousness cannot be fully achieved. I hope she can understand. On November 15, 2011, on August 15, 2014, far too many entries had nothing to do with Jiang Min's condition. They read more like a personal diary of his inner thoughts. The most recent entry was written just last night, September 15, 2023, with the Mid-Autumn Festival approaching. She said she would be spending it alone again this year. My heart ached for her, yet I felt utterly helpless. My grip on the treatment journal tightened until my knuckles turned white. My whole body trembled so violently that I had to lean on the desk just to stay upright. For 20 years, he meticulously recorded every detail, writing down their memories on the 15th of each month after spending the day with his beloved without fail, under the dim light of his desk lamp at night, wearing his reading glasses. He carefully penned these memories that belonged to both of them. I even warmed milk for him, massaged his sore shoulders, and covered him with a jacket when he fell asleep at his desk, exhausted. Jacket. I never realized that all these years he had been hiding it from me, accompanying the white moonlight of his youth that he could never have, under the guise of treatment, and walking through all these years. I suddenly feel that my 35-year marriage to him is nothing but a joke. I wish I could rush to the hospital with the medical records right now and confront him about why he treated me this way. Just as I rushed out of the study with my vision blurred by tears, Li Yanliang returned. Where are you off to in such a hurry? He was dressed in a dark blue mouse suit, his silver hair neatly combed back. A pair of old-fashioned, light amber-tinted reading glasses rested on the hollows of his eyes. Despite his advanced years, there was not a hint of a stoop in his walk. His entire bearing was imbued with the refined, gentlemanly grace that comes with age. Even at 70, one could easily discern the gentle, jade-like elegance of his youth. It was as if all my strength had suddenly drained away, leaving me standing motionless and dumbstruck in the doorway. My mind raced through countless memories, from the day I first met Li Yanliang at 25, to the present where we had both become white-haired elders. For 35 years, I devoted myself wholeheartedly to taking care of this family, bearing and raising his children, only to encounter such a misfortune at the age when I should have been enjoying the joys of family life. I hate that I couldn't have discovered all this sooner, and I hate even more why he kept it hidden from me for so long. I opened my mouth to confront him, but all that came out was a burning rage, as if my throat was choked with cotton, making it hard to speak. The kids and their families are coming over for dinner this weekend. I should go buy some more groceries. Suppressing my anger, I spoke calmly. Yes, they should come home for Mid-Autumn Festival, Li Yanliang said, taking off his coat and handing it to me out of habit this time. I didn't reach out to take it. The coat fell to the ground, revealing a beautifully wrapped box. Li Yanliang frowned at me, quickly picking up the box and coat from the floor. Why didn't you catch it? I didn't answer him, coldly staring at the box in his hand. Is this for me? No, Li Yanliang denied it without hesitation. There's a lecture tomorrow. This is for another professor in our group, a formal gift. I never knew before that Li Yanliang could lie without so much as a blush or a skipped heartbeat. I knew the jade bracelet in this box wasn't for me. His diary said he felt guilty towards Jiang Min, unable to spend the Mid-Autumn Festival with her. Even I, as foolish as I am, could guess he intended this bracelet as compensation for her. When did you start giving gifts to people? He shouted. What do you mean? What are you suspecting me of? It's not for me, nor for my fellow professors, it's for her, right? I no longer wanted to play dumb and straightforwardly took out the medical record I had hidden behind me. I thought Li Yanliang would panic and try to explain something to me, but the moment I took out the medical record, he lunged at me like a madman. He snatched it away in one go. How dare you go through my things? Didn't I tell you not to touch my desk? For the first time, his usually calm and indifferent face showed disgust and anger, and when he glared at me, it was as if he had suddenly turned into a wild beast. The wild beast, so he really cares about Jiang Men. I shook my head with a bitter smile. If I hadn't moved it, how long would you have kept me in the dark? He looked at me incomprehensibly. What are you going crazy about? This is a patient's file. I'm a doctor, and it's my duty to protect the patient's privacy. Protecting patient privacy is my duty, even as my wife. You cannot just go through a patient's medical records. Do you understand? Of course I understand. For the past 35 years, I listened to you too much. I took your every word and action too much to heart, and that's why I've been deceived for so long. I screamed at the top of my lungs, my reddened eyes betraying the emotion I was desperately trying to hold back. Li Yanliang was also furious. You're being completely unreasonable. Is that really the kind of person you think I am? Treating the sick and saving lives as my job just because Jiang Men and I had a past? Are you really asking me to turn a blind eye to her suffering and illness? He shouted. How is it that after all these years, I never realized you could be so jealous? You have no empathy at all. What's the difference between you and those unreasonable, venomous shrews? I couldn't help but laugh out of anger. The last bit of hope I had for Li Yanliang completely shattered. 35 years of companionship, only to be repaid with a single word. Poisonous woman. Li Yanliang, put your hand on your heart and ask yourself, is your relationship with Jiang Min really just doctor and patient? Li Yanliang was stunned for a few seconds and did not answer. Immediately, after a long while, he finally turned and walked into the study, saying as he went, I can't be bothered to explain too much to you. As for today's matter, just pretend it never happened. If you keep spouting nonsense and let the patient know you went through her private things, and this blows up into an uncontrollable mess, you'll have to figure out how to deal with it yourself. The door to the study slammed shut with a bang, and with it, Li Yanliang slammed the door on our 35-year marriage. Li Yanliang and I entered a cold war. I stopped getting up early every day to buy breakfast from the market and wake him up. I also stopped tidying his perpetually messy desk, organizing the scattered papers and books. After stopping these activities, I suddenly found that I had much more free time. I even had time to go downstairs after dinner to take a walk and join the elderly ladies in the neighborhood for some square dancing on the Mid-Autumn Festival. Li Yanliang had a day off and didn't go to the hospital for his clinic in the morning. He finally spoke to me for the first time since our argument. The kids are coming over this afternoon, so stop pouting. He sat on the couch with his legs crossed, unscrewed his thermos, and took a sip, a freshly brewed cup of black tea. Tidy up my study and living room, then go buy some groceries so the kids can have a hot meal. Rice, aren't you on leave today? Why didn't you go buy it? Li Yanliang frowned. What kind of man goes grocery shopping and cooks? Men handle external affairs while women manage the household. This has always been Li Yanliang's view on marriage and is the norm in our marriage. Over the years, I've managed the household with meticulous care, never once causing him any worry. The path to advancement in the medical field is even harder. He has reached the level of a top professor in the field of traditional Chinese medicine because of the efforts he made in his youth, extraordinary efforts that ordinary people couldn't endure. But behind these efforts, my support was also crucial. I vaguely remember the time when he was being evaluated for the position of chief physician. During that period, our 5-year-old son suddenly developed a high fever, and our daughter was just under 2 years old. I braved the heavy rain, holding our daughter in my arms and carrying our son on my back as we took a taxi to the hospital. I stayed in the hospital all night and fell ill as soon as I got home. I never told him about these things, silently bearing them alone, hoping he could move forward without any worries. Career. But after all this, what have I gained? Now I've finally come to my senses. I've been wrong for 35 years. And for the time to come, I don't want to waste any more of it on a man who isn't worth it. I don't want to waste any more of my life on a man who isn't worth my efforts. But what can I do? From now on, you'll have to buy groceries and cook for yourself. I threw the prepared divorce agreement in front of him. After seeing the document, Li Yanliang almost dropped the teacup in his hand. He shouted, "Are you crazy? You're in your 70s. Why are you getting a divorce now? What will the children think? What kind of divorce? How do you expect the children to feel? So what? Why should I be the only one to bear all this injustice? As soon as I finished speaking, my son's family and daughter walked in together. My granddaughter Kiki, wearing a pink tiered dress, rushed into my arms with pure delight. Grandma, happy Mid-Autumn Festival. A child couldn't sense the tension in the room, but the adults understood the situation perfectly. My daughter-in-law glanced at Li Yanliang, who sat fuming on the sofa, and quickly carried the little girl into the guest bedroom. Their daughter put the milk and fruit she'd brought into the kitchen, while their son hurried to sit beside Li Yanliang. Dad, what's going on with you two? Li Yanliang snorted coldly and threw the divorce papers I had produced onto the table. Why don't you go ask your mother? The moment he saw the divorce agreement, our son's face visibly darkened. He jumped up from the sofa and came right up to me. Mom, what are you doing? You and Dad have been married for so many years. Whatever the problem is, can't we just talk this through? Why are you even bringing up divorce? You're going to make me and my sister the laughingstock of the town. To be honest, Li Yanliang and I have had our fair share of arguments over all these years together, but no matter what happened before, I always kept him separate from the children. If I was upset with him, I'd just ignore him, but I would never, ever ignore the kids or disregard their feelings. It was last night when I told my son about my intention to divorce, and his response left me utterly disappointed. Likely, Li Yanliang had selectively told the story of me finding Jiang Min's medical record that day. The first thing my son asked when he received the call was to question me. Mom, why did you go through Dad's desk? As a doctor, protecting patient privacy is crucial, and you could get into trouble if they pursue it. Get up, or even Dad's reputation won't be safe. It was clearly Li Yanliang who did wrong, yet he seized on the issue of leaking patient privacy to shift all the blame onto me. Mom, just give in to Dad a little. Tomorrow is Mid-Autumn Festival, a time for family reunion. Don't make everyone unhappy. You and your father are truly cut from the same cloth. I couldn't help but snap before hanging up the phone directly. And now, the way my son stands before me, questioning me, is exactly the same as his tone on the phone yesterday. I'm done compromising. There's no room for discussion on this matter. I am determined to get this divorce. Since you're all here today, we might as well get everything out in the open and settled. My son exploded the moment he heard me. Mom, can you stop causing trouble? Did you not take a single word I said yesterday to heart? Dad is a renowned TCM professor, and I've followed in his footsteps to become a doctor. I'm about to be evaluated, and you're stirring up all this drama. Have you thought about me? And Dad and Aunt Jiang Min are completely innocent. Aunt Jiang Min is genuinely ill and asked Dad for help with her treatment. I've also been involved in this matter. Dad and Aunt Jiang Min are completely innocent. Aunt Jiang Min is genuinely ill and asked Dad for help with her treatment. I've also been involved in this matter. Of course I know. It's not nearly as bad as you think. Seeing the situation had spiraled out of control, my daughter rushed out from the kitchen and pulled me away. Mom, I see we haven't bought groceries for today yet. Why don't I go with you to the market? I followed my daughter out the door. She drove me around the nearby mall and then pulled over by the coastal road, placed an order for some meat and vegetables on Hema Fresh, and only then put her phone away to talk to me. Mom, honestly, you're really something. It's Mid-Autumn Festival today. Why did you have to make it like this? I had thought my daughter brought me out to comfort me, but to my surprise, her first words were also to blame me. So all of you think I should just put up with it, is that it? I shot back. It's not about putting up with it. Just think about it. For all these years, Dad has been the sole breadwinner. You haven't had any income of your own at home. If things really do come to a divorce, how much money could you possibly get? Wouldn't that woman, Jiang Min, just end up with all the benefits? After all, you're the one who's been with him. Dad has put in over 30 years of hard work. If nothing else, I certainly don't want his estate to be split with some strange woman later on. I was so angry, I could only laugh. The children I gave birth to, one is worried that if my divorce drama gets out, it'll ruin his political career. The other is worried that when the assets are divided later, he'll end up with less. All of them are pieces of me, yet no one has ever considered my perspective. Li Yu, people say that daughters can empathize more with their mothers. If your brother is like that, I can let it go. But do you have to treat me this way too? If, in the future, your husband treats you like this, do you want me to advise you to endure it? Mom, what are you saying? No mother should compare her own child like that. Can't you just wish me well? It suddenly came back to me how, when we were kids, Li Yanliang's mother favored sons over daughters, showing clear bias against her own daughter at every turn. I stood up to the pressure from my in-laws, fighting to secure my daughter's fair share in everything and striving to treat all my children equally. I don't expect her to remember the hardships and scorn I endured for her. nor do I ask for anything in return, because I believe that's simply what a mother is supposed to do. I just wish she could be more understanding of my struggles. Is it really too much to ask that she at least doesn't twist the knife when I'm already down? Forget it, I have nothing more to say to you, since you can't understand. Don't come looking for me in the future, just go and stay with your father. Help him and Jiang Min in their old age and see them to their final rest. I threw out these words, opened the car door, and got out. After I filed for divorce with Li Yanliang, I moved out of our home. Li Yanliang had worked hard for most of his life, and he still owned quite a few properties. I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment that was quite far from the city center. I vaguely remember that this apartment was awarded to Li Yanliang by his unit after he successfully passed the evaluation at the age of 30. My gap with Li Yanliang wasn't that big. I used to be an administrator in the factory too. One time, my friend wasn't feeling well, so I accompanied her to the hospital for a checkup, and that's how I met Li Yanliang. After getting to know each other better, we, like most young people, started dating. He would ride his bicycle to take me to work, and my parents were quite satisfied with their future son-in-law's job. Not long after, we got married. Before the wedding, he confessed to me honestly that I was his first love. Apart from me, there was only one other girl he had ever liked, Jiang Min. However, just as they were beginning to develop feelings for each other, Jiang Min was married off by her parents to a businessman who had gone into private enterprise. Back then, he held my hand and swore that I would be the only one in his life. After we moved into this house allocated by the unit, our son was 3 years old, and I was pregnant with our daughter. When Li Yanliang's mother found out the second child was a girl, she refused to come and take care of me during childbirth. Every day, I had to take care of my son, go to work, and deal with the little one in my belly who kept giving me trouble. On Li Yanliang's advice, I quit my job to focus on my pregnancy and caring for our child at home. I poured almost my entire life into him and our 2 children. Now that I've moved out on my own, my life has been completely turned upside down. It was at that moment I truly understood what it means to be responsible for no one but myself. I used to always think about saving money for him, suppressing all my own desires, but now, I just want to make up for all the things I missed out on over the decades. I'm going to enjoy every single one of them. I treated myself to a whole new wardrobe of lovely clothes, a set of expensive skincare products, and some gold jewelry. Then, I signed up for a senior citizens tour group and went to Guizhou with the other ladies my age to escape the summer heat. Li Yanliang couldn't stand fishy grass and coriander. As a doctor, he focused on health and rarely ate heavy, oily, or spicy dishes. So, during the 35 years we were together, every dish I made was light and never included fishy grass or coriander, these 2 ingredients. But now, I can slather chili oil all over the rolled skin, pile on almost overflowing fishy grass and herbs, and eat it in big bites. Eat as those flavors spread in my mouth, I experienced a satisfaction and indulgence I hadn't felt in decades. During this time, Li Yanliang called me numerous times, mostly asking where his various books were placed, or asking how to use the washing machine and where the tools for ironing shirts were kept. At first, I would patiently reply to him, but the more I did, the more annoyed I became. I coldly said, Jiang Min probably knows about these things too. You might as well sign the divorce agreement quickly and bring her back to take care of you. Like I said, sign the divorce agreement as soon as possible and bring her back to take care of you. Li Yanliang later didn't dare to call me again, but my son and daughter frequently sent me messages. Initially, most of the messages were complaints, such as accusing me of being irresponsible, leaving my father alone at home without care, and going out on my own, cool and detached. I never replied to a single one. Later, when they realized their attempts at emotional blackmail were completely ineffective on me, they started playing the family card. They sent me videos of my grandchildren. The little ones called out, "Grandma," in their sweet, childish voices, saying they missed me. I suddenly remembered how my son and daughter used to rely on me so much when they were that age, but as they grew up, in the face of various interests, family bonds sometimes became the chains they hoped would trap me. I unpinned my son and daughter, ignored their social media updates, and blocked their messages. Half a month later, the night I returned from Guizhou, Li Yanliang sat on the steps outside the house, a teacup by his side, waiting for me with a hunched back. He looked much more haggard compared to a month ago. One button on his Zhongshan suit was missing, and the stitching was crooked. His pants were wrinkled and not neatly ironed. Seeing me return with a suitcase, he immediately grabbed the railing to stand up, wanting to help me with the suitcase. "Goodbye, you old bones, save your strength, I can manage on my own." He lowered his head slightly, feeling embarrassed. "Yes, we're both old now, we've spent most of our lives together, and I really miss you when you're not around." "I know, I didn't consider your feelings before and was too harsh on you. Now every time I come home, it's cold and empty. I feel so lonely. Come home with me, old lady." I opened the door with my suitcase. "This is my home. Where else would I go?" Li Yanliang snatched the suitcase from my hand and carried it into the house forcefully. "Are you still blaming me?" I didn't respond. Li Yanliang mustered the courage to explain. "Jiang Min has a very serious gynecological disease. You know, back then, she was forced by her parents to marry a merchant who had gone into business, in exchange for a house in the city and a stable job for her brother. Later, this merchant was promiscuous and contracted a sexually transmitted disease, which he passed on to her. Jiang Min endured until she was 40, unable to overcome her psychological block to see a doctor. When I found out, I just couldn't bear it, feeling that she was so pitiful that I agreed to help her get treated on the 15th of every month. Later, her illness was cured, but she developed psychological issues, refusing to see a doctor. I had to consult my psychologist colleague and do my best to treat her, alleviating her depression. I swear, I never thought of betraying you, nor did I ever think of ruining our current life." Hearing Li Yanliang's explanations, I found them even more ridiculous. "Li Yanliang, could you please stop disgracing the medical profession?" He was taken aback for a moment, his wrinkled brow furrowing deeply, his face turning pale. "You claim you're helping her with treatment, but you're just taking her on sightseeing trips everywhere. After treating her gynecological issues, you move on to her psychological ones. Didn't your very first lesson in medical school teach you not to develop empathy for a patient? You're just using this as a pretext to make up for something missing in your own heart. Your own moral failings simply provided the most convenient excuse for your infidelity. The ending between you and Jiang Min was predestined. If she hadn't gone through all that, she never would have come back to you, because that businessman could have given her so much more. Yet when she returned to your side after her ordeal, you couldn't hide your disgust for her body, using a doctor's moral duty to heal as a pretense to restrain yourself. It looks like guilt, but it's pure hypocrisy. Our daughter once said she was afraid that after I'm gone, you'd marry Jiang Min, but Li Yanliang, I'm not worried at all. I suspect you won't marry her. Beneath that hypocritical exterior of yours lies a deeply conservative heart. You pity her, but only to flaunt your magnanimity as a man. You would never truly take responsibility for her, especially since she has a daughter from another man." I snatched the suitcase from his hands and slammed the door shut with a loud bang. After that, Li Yanliang never came to see me again. A week later, I received the divorce papers he mailed to me. He hadn't changed a single clause from the terms I had previously proposed. 70% of his income over the years was transferred into my name. I once ran into an elderly couple while traveling in Guizhou. They said that after retiring, they bought an RV and set off from their hometown. Driving across more than half of China, I saw freedom in their eyes, a call from the depths of their souls that made me eager to do the same. After the property settlement was complete, I went to a car dealership and bought a small SUV. After all these years with Li Yanliang, the only thing I'm grateful to him for is that he made me get my driver's license 20 years ago. Back then, it was difficult for my son and daughter to get to and from school. He used his year-end bonus to take out a loan and bought a small car, making it easier for me to shuttle the kids back and forth school. And now, that skill seems to have come in handy. I bought some camping gear, installed curtains around the car, and converted the back seats and trunk into a space that can transform into a. The design of the large bed is more than sufficient for me to rest alone. After finishing all that, I started looking up routes to decide on the first stop for my road trip. The day before I packed up and set off, an unexpected visitor showed up at my house. I suspect that ever since Li Yanliang and I got divorced, he hasn't been in touch with Jiang Min. He was even avoiding her, which is why she ended up coming to me. Actually, I had heard of Jiang Min's name even when I was young. All of Li Yanliang's friends knew her. From what they said, I learned that Jiang Min was a true prodigy in her day. She could write poetry, play the piano, and was a great beauty. Her life should have been radiant and brilliant, had she not married that merchant. And now, the very woman who was the unattainable ideal for so many men was sitting right in front of me. Contrary to what I had imagined, Jiang Min now had silver hair at her temples, held back with a sandalwood hair clip. Even with some makeup, the sickly pallor and signs of aging on her face couldn't be concealed. It seems that over the years, she must have endured a great deal of suffering from illness, to the point where she appears older than her actual age. It was only in that moment that the self-doubt that had plagued me for over 3 decades seemed to vanish into thin air. "So, what brings you here?" I asked, getting straight to the point. "I heard you and Yanliang got divorced. If it's because of me, I feel I should explain." Looking into her sincere eyes, I almost believed her. Li Yanliang and I have been at odds for so long. if she truly intended to explain herself, she wouldn't have waited until now. Moreover, her explanation doesn't matter to me at all because from the beginning, it wasn't just because of her that I wanted a divorce but more because of Li Yanliang's attitude and the weariness these life brought me. If you're here because of this, you can leave now. I don't care what your relationship is, whether it's past, present, or future, but Yan Liang cares, Jiang Min said. Holding the water glass in front of her, he probably feels guilty towards you. For the last 2 months, he stopped treating me. He Xiao, I know I'm not good enough for Yan Liang, and I never once thought about taking him away from you. All I want is a reason to see him, that would be enough for me. Now that you're divorced, could you please talk to him for me? Jiang Min's words were truly an eye-opener for me. A homewrecker, after destroying someone else's family, has the nerve to come to me, the ex-wife, to plead her case today. I finally understand the saying, pitiable people often have their own despicable traits. Jiang Min, since Yan Liang is ignoring you, go find him yourself. I have no obligation to mediate your relationship. Please don't come looking for me again. I did it. I drove to Tibet alone. In the uninhabited wilderness, I disconnected from the entire world, yet witnessed the most miraculous sight of nature, the Gobi Desert, snow-capped mountains, deserts, and grasslands. Each one profoundly moved my 60-year-old soul. Along the way, I also met some kindred spirits. Most of them were young, but they didn't hold any prejudice against me just because I was an elderly person. One young guy even taught me how to use a drone, capturing many stunning videos and photos. After I returned from my self-driving trip in Tibet, he sent me the edited videos and taught me how to register a social media account. My first self-driving travel video received countless likes, but the comments from netizens were mixed. Some say I've truly understood the meaning of life, no longer bound by worldly concerns. This spirit of pursuing freedom and living life to the fullest is something many young people can't achieve. Others just criticize me for messing around, trying to take risks like a young person at my age, abandoning my son and grandchildren, and wasting social resources if something goes wrong. I simply brush off these comments with a laugh. No one can stop my heart from seeking freedom and embracing beauty. Controversy, it seems, naturally brings attention, so much so that some media outlets even wanted to interview me, but I have no desire to lay my entire life bare for public consumption. I declined their invitation and began preparing for my second road trip. While I'm still able to get around, I want to see more of my country's magnificent landscapes. However, after my video went viral, it seemed to cause some trouble for my son and daughter. They each came to me, one after the other, asking me to give up on the road trip. Mom, can you stop causing trouble for no reason? How do you think this makes us kids look to those around us? Do you know what people are saying about me and Liu? They're saying we're not taking care of you, that we've wronged you, which is why you left home alone. The son sat on the living room sofa, both angry and frustrated. When did we ever neglect you? It's you who insisted on doing this. My daughter chimed in too. Come on, Mom, I'm begging you. Think about me and my brother for a second. You buy this car and then you're off driving all over the country, and my brother and I have to worry about you constantly. With that money, couldn't you do something else? My brother and I are under a lot of pressure right now. Dad's not really there for us either. After work every day, we still have to take care of the kids. You used to help us pick up and drop off Kiki and Nan, even though you and Dad are divorced. Now, you can't just wash your hands of us. Can you? My son fished out a cigarette box from his suit pocket, shook one out and put it in his mouth, speaking in a tone of indifference. We'll sell your car tomorrow and you can stay home, helping us take care of Coco and Nana when you're free. Sell your car tomorrow and stay home, helping us take care of Coco and Nana when you're free, watching them like vampires, only ever taking from me, eager to squeeze out my last bit of usefulness. I felt not the slightest bit of sadness. Everyone says raising children ensures old age security, but in the end, I realized my whole life was trapped in these roles. From the moment they were born, everything in my life was pushed forward by them. I struggled to study in the first half of my life, left home to care for my husband in the second half, and after my grandchildren were born, I had to spare energy to help with their care. A woman's life seems to be preordained by societal expectations, but I refuse to go on living like a walking corpse. First, your father and I are divorced. I'm now the sole person on my household register. Second, both you and Liu are over 18. I have no obligation to take care of either of you anymore. Third, even though I'm 60, it's not like I lack the ability to live independently or make basic judgments. I know exactly what I'm doing and am fully aware of the consequences and everything this journey entails. Accidents happen. I've taken out personal insurance with the Chinese Red Cross Society as the beneficiary, and my entire estate will be donated as well. if I ever die on the road, don't bother coming to collect my body, someone will take care of it, of course. I assume you wouldn't want to either. I've done all I can for you two siblings. There's nothing more to say. I've done all I can for you two siblings. There's nothing more to say. I opened the door. Get out, and don't come back, if you can't get past this. Just pretend I'm not your mother. My son and daughter were furious when they heard what I said. I think you've gone mad, possessed. Dad was absolutely right to divorce you. You're insane. The two stormed out of the house angrily. After a month of rest, I set off again on a self-driving trip to Xinjiang. Only after I returned from Xinjiang did I learn about what had happened between Li Yanliang and the two children during this past month. Because of my neglect, my son and daughter had no choice but to invite Jiang Min over. I hope she can help take care of the two kids, but Jiang Min is, after all, someone who has been ill, and even those with blood ties cannot overcome this physiological aversion, let alone someone like my son and daughter, who have no relationship with Jiang Min at all. Yet I never realized that all these years, he had been hiding it from me, accompanying the white moonlight of his youth, who he could never have, under the guise of treatment all these years. Yonghua, but her daughter-in-law often washes the cup she used separately. Every time she uses the bathroom, it must be thoroughly disinfected. Over time, Jiang Min finally couldn't take it anymore. After a depressive episode, she attempted suicide by cutting her wrists at her son's home. Her daughter-in-law found her and rushed her to the hospital for emergency treatment. As for Li Yanliang, he hasn't shown his face once since Jiang Min's incident. Jiang Min cries and makes a scene in her hospital room every day, demanding to see him. To be honest, I can understand Jiang Min's pathological dependence on Li Yanliang. For years, she had been consumed by shame and suffering due to her chronic illness. Li Yanliang was one of the very few, perhaps even the first, who never looked down on her. As time went on, her dependence on Li Yanliang grew increasingly pathological. In the end, their affair became the talk of the entire hospital, leaving her son with no choice. They could only locate Jiang Min's daughter, and through her connections, they managed to had Jiang Min admitted to a psychiatric hospital for treatment. However, the affair between the two spiraled out of control, and Li Yanliang's reputation in his later years was ruined. The hospital that had rehired him used his advanced age as a reason to persuade him to retire and return home. In the past, he used to receive a steady stream of invitations to give lectures, but ever since that incident, no one has been willing to invite him. Our son also failed to get his promotion because of this, which created a rift between them. They started blaming Li Yanliang for driving me away, saying he made them motherless children. My son and daughter later sent me many messages of remorse, occasionally mentioning Li Yanliang. My daughter said Li Yanliang's health was deteriorating, and they couldn't spare the energy to care for him. Decided to send him to a nursing home so I could have time to visit him. After all, we were once husband and wife. When I saw this message and video, I was on my way to the Sichuan Tibet line. Li Yanliang sat in a wheelchair, staring blankly at the scenery outside the window. His hands, covered in age spots, held a pale yellow hairband that was the gift he gave me on my 21st birthday. I don't know what he was thinking at that moment, and I don't want to guess anymore. The past is all behind us now. I think the rest of my life will always be on the road, never stop, until the end of life. That's all for today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments below. See you in the next video. Story 2. My ascetic childhood friend became a university professor. That night, I sent over my graduation thesis and, feeling drowsy, sent a message. Honey, give it a sharp review. Fusu, however, didn't send a message back for a long time until the weekend. He called me to his apartment and personally guided me. Afterward, he slowly spoke. Teacher during the day, husband at night. He almost completely encircled my body, and the airflow brushed against the back of my ear. I was instantly petrified. Wait, I was supposed to type teacher. He opened his phone and showed me, and the world came crashing down. After returning from studying abroad, Fusu became a philosophy professor at our school. I grew up with him, and his family's window was within arm's reach from mine. As a child, he was my best friend, and I would visit him next door all the time. After Fusu went abroad, our communication became much less frequent. This time when I heard he was back, I secretly felt happy for a long time, with an inexplicable nervousness in my heart. In the middle of the night, I sent him my graduate thesis, joking in the message, teacher, give it a sharp review. I waited for his message but never received it, and I drifted off to sleep in a daze. I'm used to it. After all, it might take them forever to reply. The next day, while walking, Taoying tugged at my sleeve. Hey, Zizha, have you seen the new Professor Fu? He's young and handsome, from the philosophy department, and now teaching undergrad courses. He's not much older than us, yet he's already a professor. My heart skipped a beat when I heard Fusu's name. I took a bite of my ice cream and said nonchalantly, "I've met him, he's okay, I guess." Taoying immediately got excited. "Just okay, he's super handsome. His classes are always packed during freshman orientation. Is that really so exaggerated?" Taoying immediately opened the school forum for me to see. "Look, it's not exaggerated at all. The school forum is usually quiet, with only a few people popping in, probably because everyone is used to the happenings around campus, but this time, after Fusu arrived, it's like a fresh burst of energy has been injected into the school." The recent hot topic on the forum is new philosophy professor. Is it finally our turn at Shi University to get such a treat? He also included a few photos of himself wearing a white shirt, glasses, and standing at the podium, exuding a restrained yet refined aura. This post was beautifully pinned. The comments below are piling up. "He's so handsome. I haven't seen such a top tier in a long time. My desire to attend class is unbearably strong. Nothing else. I just really like going to class. I'm from the neighboring school. Just came by to check it out. This guy is undeniably handsome. I'm Nana from Russia, and I support giving one of these teachers to each department. Damn it, this is what I was supposed to look like in this life. Let me look like this in my next life. Okay, wow, so handsome. Where's the limit? Where's the morality? And where's the WeChat ID?" Taoying patted my shoulder. "It's a pity we don't have that kind of luck." Jiangze, waiting at the bus stop, a familiar male voice came from beside me. I instinctively turned my head and saw Fusu standing next to us with a backpack. When did he stand there? I was startled for a moment. "Fusu, Mr. Fu." Realizing Taoying was still beside me, I quickly corrected myself and called him teacher. Taoying was busy ogling Fusu, completely oblivious to my reaction. It took her a moment to snap back to reality. "You two know each other?" "Me, we do, Fusu." "Very well." We exchanged a glance and couldn't help but laugh. "The sense of has diminished, you know. When we were kids playing Pictionary together, we never lost." I studied him for a while, and he definitely looked more handsome than before, and his demeanor was more mature. Taoying squinted at us for a long time, then whispered to me, "Zaza, you had this connection and didn't tell us earlier. You're amazing, sis." Fusu asked with confusion and seriousness. "What connection?" I coughed awkwardly a few times, wanting to dig a hole right there and hide in it. "It's fine, our ride is here. We have to go now." I grabbed Taoying and dashed onto the bus, but Fusu called out to me as I stepped on. I quickly turned back and saw him smiling at me. "Come to my place this weekend, I'll give you a sharp review." I nodded, my cheeks instantly burning, and the feeling of shame spread through my body like blood. Taoying pulled me over to her side and held up her phone to show me a picture. "I just snapped a candid of you two together. Looks great, doesn't it?" In the photo, I had turned my head, and he was smiling while talking to me. It looked like it had been brushed with a layer of youthful nostalgia. "Look how flushed your face is." Covering my face, I protested. "I am not, it's just really hot out." Taoying turned off her phone screen and slipped it into her pocket. "All right then, I'll go ahead and delete the photo." "Hey, wait, don't delete it, send it to me." Don't overthink it. I just think you captured the mood perfectly in this shot. The technique is seriously impressive." A flood of compliments left Taoying feeling dizzy. She sent me that photo, and I stared at it for a long time before saving it. "This size is perfect for a wallpaper, so I'll secretly use it for a few days." Fusu has become the talk of our school overnight. His lectures were always packed to the rafters, with people even crowding outside to listen in. As everyone says, it's not about being lustful, just eager to learn. Taoying dragged me there early to grab seats. "Listen, we need to get there an hour early to snag front row spots." "Sure, that area gets blasted by the midday sun, but it's totally worth it. Just keep it out there. Let it bask in the sun for a full 180 days. I curled my lip. "What do you think you are? Some premium soy sauce that needs aging?" This semester, Fusu is offering a public elective course called The Aesthetics of Love. No teacher at our university has ever offered a course related to love before, so naturally, a lot of students are interested. Many graduate students, including us, went to check it out after hearing about it. Taoying was quite pleased with herself. Although we lost our midday nap, we got front row seats. By the time class started, all the students had arrived in the classroom, and there were people standing outside as well. Fusu walked into the lecture hall wearing a blue shirt, a bag slung over his shoulder. Seeing the crowd, he adjusted his glasses and said, "So many people. It seems everyone here has a yearning for love." He scanned the room, then his gaze settled on me, and our eyes met for a few seconds. Fusu was indeed a captivating lecturer, speaking eloquently with a gentle and engaging manner. "Our class is a bit special. if you manage to find a partner, you'll get extra credit. In his class, both students and the teacher can communicate fully. During the free interaction session, a student stood up and asked him, "Teacher, how many partners have you had? Do you have someone you like now?" The crowd below buzzed with gossip, all eagerly waiting for Fusu's answer. Just moments ago, he was seriously discussing love poems with his classmates, but now his ears turned red. He turned away and smiled. "To be honest, I haven't been in a relationship yet." The whole room was stunned, myself included. Teacher Fu has never been in a relationship. How is that even possible? Honestly, with looks and a personality that appeal to everyone, how could they have never dated anyone? Which is more believable, this story, or me being Qin Shi Huang? "Are you into pure love, teacher?" Tao Ying whispered in my ear. "Is it true?" "I don't know, I thought he had already had a girlfriend abroad." Fusu doesn't lie, so this must be the truth. Before the crowd could settle down, Fusu slowly added, "But there's someone I like." Those words exploded in my mind, accompanied by the classmates' even more fervent cheers. A pang of bitterness still stirred in my heart after hearing him say that. Of course, after being out there for so long, how could he not have a girl he likes? The bell rang just as class ended, and I left the classroom. The cicadas have stopped their summer song, and autumn's leaves seem to be falling early. I've been running into Fusu in the cafeteria occasionally lately. We both, without a word, opted for the Lancao hand-pulled noodles, loaded with a devilish amount of chili. I sat across from him, and we ate in quiet companionship. Every now and then, when the spice made us look up with a gasp, our eyes would meet. Fusu asked casually, "How come you weren't there for the rest of the class last time?" I hung my head and muttered, "It's not like they're missing me. Besides, I was just sneaking into the class anyway." Fusu ed and didn't say anything more. It seemed like a flicker of disappointment crossed his eyes. Only then did I vaguely notice that the surrounding classmates were looking over and whispering something. At that moment, I happened to notice a small charm on his backpack. It was the My Little Pony charm I had given him many years ago, and it still looked brand new. It was the only birthday gift I could afford back then. When I was struggling financially, I asked with surprise, "Why do you still keep this?" Fusu glanced over and replied naturally, "Of course I kept it, you gave it to me." Those words, spoken so lightly from his lips, made my heart race without me even realizing it. Before I could even process what had happened, I overheard the excited whispers of the girls beside me. "Is that the girl teacher Fu was talking about? Their interactions look so sweet. Oh my god. They're such a perfect match. I'm so full from all this sweetness, I can't even eat." Looks like the forum is going to be updated soon. Their conversation left me completely confused. What girl? What forum? Fusu's fingers waved in front of my eyes, zoning out. "You're blushing." I pressed the back of my hand against my cheek, and it was indeed burning hot. I quickly made an excuse and slipped back to the dorm. Before I could even catch my breath, I immediately opened the campus forum to take a look. Sure enough, the popular post about Fusu had been updated. Professor Fu mentioned in class that the girl he likes is 3 years younger than him and still in school, probably a graduate student. My heart is broken. Someone replied down below, "Didn't you guys notice the keychain on Teacher Fu's backpack? She must have given it to him." Fresh gossip. "I saw Teacher Fu eating in the cafeteria with a girl today. Do you think this girl could be his childhood friend or something?" Wow, you guys have quite the imagination. Can you maybe not fantasize about that here? Did Fusu say that later in class? I suddenly remembered the question Fusu asked me in the cafeteria just now, and I'm getting all flustered again. A dangerously tempting idea was born in my mind this weekend. I went to Fusu's home as agreed. At this moment, I haven't noticed anything unusual yet. The screen showed that Fusu's message had arrived. "Hurry up, I've been waiting for an hour." After getting dressed, I grabbed my laptop bag and rushed next door. Before I could ring the doorbell, Fusu was already waiting at the door, probably because it's the weekend. He wasn't dressed as formally today, just wearing a loose white t-shirt. He looks quite presentable now, different from before. There's a real youthful vibe about him. I stopped in my tracks, waving with a smile. Mr. Fu, I'm here." Leaning against the doorframe, Fusu raised an amused eyebrow. "Why are you still calling me Teacher Fu in private? Is he still not satisfied?" "Teacher Fu, isn't this respectful enough?" I clutched my school bag strap, looking down as I asked, "Don't you like it?" Fusu nodded, giving me a cryptic look. Then, he slowly spoke, "I still prefer how you called me that night on WeChat." Didn't I call you teacher that time too?" Just as I was still puzzled, Fusu opened the door and invited me in. Fusu's apartment was neat and clean, with a black, white, and gray color scheme. At the entrance, a photo caught my eye. "Isn't this our childhood photo?" I picked it up and gently stroked it. "I remember. I used to call you Gidge a lot back then. I don't have any childhood photos anymore." In this photo, The two of us look very close. I'm pulling on his ear while lying on his back, and we're both laughing happily. Fusu placed the slippers in front of me. It's been so long since you last called me that. All those years I was studying abroad, I thought of you every single day. Come to think of it, it must have been 10 years. I replied without thinking. I thought of you every day, too, Fu. Sue's hand, pouring the water, paused. The air fell silent for a few seconds. Suddenly, an odd parrot sound came from inside. I think of you every day, every day. How does he even have a talking parrot? Day, miss, you, wait, something doesn't sound right. Are we talking about the same thing? Fusu touched his ear, and only then did I notice the tips were already turning red. He pinched the parrot's beak. Shut up. The parrot wasn't giving up, clearly spoiled by Fusu all the time. Shut up, shut up. I miss you every day, every day. Jiangze is a dummy, Jiangze is a dummy. I like you, I like you. His pale clothes made his complexion appear even redder. What on earth has Fusu been teaching him all these years? Both of them sat down as if nothing had happened. I'm turning on the air conditioner. It's too hot. Fusu adjusted his clothes and then turned on the central air conditioning. A chill spread from the soles of my feet throughout my body. I put down my computer and opened the academic garbage I wrote. This topic happens to be something Fusu has researched, so it's best to get his advice. He sat beside me, and the faint scent of pine needles wafted over occasionally. Fusu started reading my thesis, and as he did, his eyebrows furrowed slightly. Jiangze, are you submitting this paper to a joke anthology? Is Chinese your native language? Luckily, only you and I have read this paper. I dried up the silence, destroying it with meticulous care. I knew my paper wouldn't get any compliments, but I didn't expect his words to be so cutting. I clasped my hands together. Stop scolding, stop scolding. Fusu really did stop scolding. He pointed out my mistakes one by one and then corrected them. Whenever I looked up at him, he'd give me a precise tap on the head. Don't look at me, look here. Do I have the answer written on my face? I laughed out loud. Fusu, you sound just like my pot-bellied high school dean. After an afternoon of hard work, a solid paper was born, fresh and complete. After wrapping up, I casually remarked, you went abroad, got a PhD, and came back a different person. Fusu adjusted his glasses on the bridge of his nose, looking at me with a faint, ambiguous smile as he said, you've changed too. You never used to talk like this. I was taken aback for a moment and asked, how do I talk? Just as I was about to get up, Fusu loosely wrapped his arms around me from behind, his nose lightly brushing against my cheek. The air fell silent in an instant. I held my breath. He spoke slowly, his voice trailing off like a hook, calling you teacher during the day and husband at night. My mind went blank. I repeated hesitantly, my voice trembling with confusion. Who husband? Fusu chuckled softly, responding naturally, hey, wife. A gust of air brushed past my ear, completely disrupting my thoughts. I slammed my laptop shut, stood up, and spun around. Fusu, you're such a creep. His hand was still resting on the table, and I remained trapped. We were now face to face, so I had no choice but to turn my head away. Fusu said innocently, you started it. He took out his phone, opened our chat window, and held it in front of my eyes. See, you say it so naturally. I took a glance and my eyes went wide with shock. Honey, give me your hot take. Okay, wait, the word I was supposed to type was teacher. Good heavens, how could someone make such a huge mess? Doesn't Pinduoduo always say I'm the luckiest person? I turned off his screen. I was too sleepy at the time. I typed the wrong word. I didn't even notice. Fusu straightened up, amused by my flustered expression. So it was a typo. That's really disappointing. I thought you really wanted to treat me like a husband. How can someone say something so shameless? Fusu's tone sounded regretful. Do you remember, when we were kids, you used to pester me, calling me Gidge, and you said you'd marry me when you grew up? His words instantly brought back memories. I did say something like that when I was in elementary school. I often ran to watch him play marbles after class, telling my classmates every day about my incredibly handsome older neighbor brother. I proudly said, you don't know, but I think he'll be even more handsome than Aaron Kwok when he grows up. My deskmate retorted with disgust, oh, please, you're seeing him through rose-tinted glasses. Do you have a crush on him or something? I didn't deny it at the time, so I rounded up all the girls in our class to go check him out. Soon everyone had come out to have a look. After that, Fushi never played marbles again, while all the other girls were preoccupied with their little crushes and wondering if their hair looked good that day. I was the only one whose head was filled with thoughts of whether I could marry Fushi when I grew up. Cat got your tongue. Did you remember something? I blushed and said, back then, I didn't know any better. I was just joking. Fusu spoke slowly, keeping his distance from me. Aren't you Curious about who I was talking about in class that day. I heard you were quite down after that class. If he keeps going, things might not end well today. At that moment, my phone was on the table, and Taoying sent me a message, lighting up my screen. As soon as the screen lit up, the wallpaper with both of us in the frame appeared. Fusu, it's over. I hurriedly packed up and dashed out. My mom's calling me home for dinner. See you next time. It was already 7 p.m. when I got home. I couldn't eat a single bite. I opened our chat, took a screenshot, and posted online. What should I do after accidentally calling my childhood friend hubby? Need help, urgent. To my surprise, the post started getting more and more likes, becoming a trending topic. My girlfriends below didn't let me off the hook either. Your childhood friend might have already thought of names for your future kids. Don't be upset. Let me show you a clown. The last person who posted something like this, the thread owner, has already married her childhood friend, and they have a 3-year-old child. He definitely likes you. Don't hesitate, go for it. Is he handsome? If not, just say your account was hacked. Next time I come back, it'll probably be to say, thanks, everyone, we're together now and living happily. Never expected that. My first trending post turned out to be a chat log with Fusu. Taoying already knows about my relationship with Fusu and pesters me daily for gossip. She called me and asked, how did it go today? Don't even ask. I'm so embarrassed I could die. Taoying got even more excited. Looks like you need a strategist like me. I'll help you win over your childhood sweetheart for free. She laid out her grand plan for me. I was stunned. Put your hand on your heart and tell me, do you like him or not? Do you want to pursue him or not? Haven't you been waiting for him all these years without dating? Now that he's back, what are you waiting for? I pondered for a moment before uttering those words. I like you. I've only ever liked him. From the very beginning, I once had a slight crush on a guy just because he resembled Fusu. It was only after being questioned by Taoying that I truly understood my own feelings. Taoying said urgently, then you have to be more proactive. You'll definitely win him over. Being proactive. I still have to learn how to do that because I tend to blush whenever I see him. I tossed and turned all night, unable to sleep. As soon as I closed my eyes, I recall his gentle whisper of wife. It's like a spell that occupies all the space in my mind, leaving no room for anything else. I turned over, and my phone vibrated. Fusu sent a message. Can't sleep. Me too. Fusu, what are you thinking about? Following Taoying's advice, I definitely need to take the initiative here. Time to be direct. I typed and deleted, and typed again on the keyboard, summoning immense courage to type these 3 words. Me, thinking of you. It seems Su is also struggling. The other party is typing. Lasted for several minutes. I thought he was typing up some grand masterpiece. Turns out it was just a few words. Go to bed. Alright then. I hold you dear in my heart, and you just kicked me to the curb. I've been seeing Fusu more often lately. I often run into him after his classes. He teaches undergraduates, while I'm in graduate school, and our majors are different, so we didn't have much chance to cross paths. To get closer to him, I volunteered to be his assistant. Fusu was taken aback. How did you know I was planning to hire an assistant? You're in luck. The salary for this position is quite decent. After becoming his assistant, I had free access to his office. He would often ask me what I had eaten that day and if I was having my meals on time. Sometimes 2 people work face to face together. That time I stayed up all night. And the next day I was so tired that I fell asleep on the desk while working on the spreadsheet. I had a dream that wasn't quite a proper spring dream. In the dream, I was so excited that I jumped 3 feet high. It felt like heaven. I woke up with a start, feeling something crawl across my face. Blinking groggily, I noticed Fusu gently tucking my hair behind my ear. His coat was still draped over me just as I was about to get up. Sorry, I was too tired and fell asleep. I'll get up now and do it. Fusu gently pressed my head back onto the table. It's okay, rest for a while. I'll take care of it. I rested my head back on the table, feeling at ease, but I couldn't fall asleep again. We usually eat at the school cafeteria, but occasionally I cook in the school's public kitchen. I suddenly felt inspired at noon and decided to make some desserts for Fusu. I made several shui mei and soufflés, then packed them up and delivered them to him. Fusu was in his office reviewing students' midterm papers, massaging his temples furiously. I placed the box on his desk. This is for you. Try it. Fusu opened it and glanced at it. Did you make this specially, just for me? I said proudly. It was a for you. He picked up a shui mei liang, took a bite, and his expression changed from surprise to something complex and indescribable. Isn't it good? Fusu's expression returned to normal. Delicious. Mainly because it's made by you. I picked it up and took a bite myself, a bolt from the blue. It seems somewhere forgotten to add sugar. Fusu finished the one in his hand. It's okay, this is the first time you've made dessert. For me yourself, I'll finish all of them even though I'm often by his side. Many people still try to get close to him that day. Someone caught him chatting with a girl dressed in a revealing outfit at the school gate. The gossip on the forum has started up again. This looks quite compatible. Handsome guy and beautiful girl. It's pleasing to the eye. Looks like someone from the school next door. How did they start chatting so quickly? I heard they're trying to pursue Mr. Fu with that kind of initiative. This girl could succeed at anything. Phew, what a great figure. Boy, this kid's got some fire. I was supposed to have a body like that in this lifetime, Towing said with a worried expression. Zaza, give it your best shot. The competition is getting fiercer. Looking at these photos, I do feel a bit annoyed. Towing says this kind of emotion is jealousy, which is normal. Who doesn't like beautiful women with great figures? Falling for someone is as easy as pie. At 7 p.m., Fusu sent me a message. Save me at the school gate, a clear and simple signal. As a righteous little assistant, of course I had to be the beauty who saves the hero. I packed up my bag and rushed out, planning to head home for the night. When I got to the bus stop by the school gate, I saw that woman practically glued to Fusu's side. Her voice was sickly sweet. Professor Fu, I have my car. I can give you a ride home. You don't seem like someone who's clueless about romance, so why do you keep turning me down? The moment Fusu saw me, it was like he'd grabbed onto a lifeline. He waved at me and called out, Jiangze, over here. So that's how he defused the situation. I got it instantly. When I walked over, the beauty's face was a mix of shock and displeasure. What did you call her? I stood beside Fusu, gently holding his arm. This is my boyfriend. Is there something you need, beautiful lady? She gave us a few appraising looks. To make it more convincing, I leaned a bit closer to Fusu. I distinctly felt Fusu's body tense up for a moment. I looked up at Fusu with a smile and said, sweetheart, next time I'll go back with you so the journey won't be boring. Okay. Fusu took my hand, our warm palms fitting together perfectly. The lady finally got the hint. So Mr. Fu is taken. I didn't believe it before. I couldn't imagine who could possibly be good enough for you. Well, I wish you both happiness. In the blink of an eye, she vanished without a trace. I beamed at him. So perfect timing, right? When our eyes met, Fusu wasn't smiling. His ears turned red. If you say that, I might start to believe it. I almost felt like you really were my girlfriend. I glanced down at our hands, which we hadn't yet let go of. Didn't you ask me to pretend to be your girlfriend to help you out? Did I overact a bit? Fusu nodded. That's right. What's wrong then? I said. I'm going home too. Let's go together. Fusu's voice reached my ears, crystal clear. He said seriously, can we not let go of each other's hands? Is that even possible? We boarded the same bus, hand in hand, and Ly chose the back row. This was the first time I held Fusu's hand. I secretly took a photo. The bus was moving, and the scenery outside the window kept flowing backward, offering a panoramic view of the entire city. I leaned against the window and looked out. Do you remember? We used to love riding the bus, dreaming of sitting quietly all day long. Fusu smiled. That's why I often use the bus as my mode of transportation now. When sitting on the bus, I can clear my mind and quietly enjoy the moment, especially on nice days. It feels like my body and soul are being healed well, except for a crowded bus, that is. But this time, my heart was pounding so fast. That sense of calm I had before was gone, probably because it was nighttime, and the person I like was sitting right beside me. We were holding hands. The car was dimly lit. I stared straight ahead and asked, why do you keep holding my hand? Fusu said softly, because I wanted to know what it feels like to have such an adorable girlfriend. My mind lit up like a sky full of fireworks. I couldn't care less about what others were saying. So, the person you like is, it's you. After the bus arrived, we walked a short distance together. I had imagined walking under the streetlights with someone I liked countless times before. The light must be a soft yellow. Fusu began. Do you know why I ultimately chose to work at this school? Why? Because it's close to you, close to my home, and close to your home. I felt my breath stop. I never thought Fusu came here to work for me. I want to be with you forever, no matter what that makes us. Fireworks erupted in the distance. Amidst the deafening roar of the fireworks, I shouted, then let's stay together forever. Fusu cautiously confirmed. So, are we officially dating now? What do you think? Isn't it obvious? Fusu excitedly picked me up and spun me around, kissing me several times on the face. Indeed, his embrace was as warm as I had imagined. After telling Towing the news, she was just as excited as I was. Well done, so fast. It was a breeze. Sister, you're eating really well. Did you kiss? I pursed my lips and nodded. I kissed on the cheek. It's really like a pure love story for both of you, being each other's first loves. Next time, I must take the initiative and kiss back. After confirming their relationship, everyone knew Fu Su had a girlfriend. Word spread quickly, And almost everyone found out about it. The forum is buzzing with discussion. Mr. Fu is finally with the girl he likes. I heard he's liked her for years. They're childhood sweethearts. I'm so envious of a love like that. Which way do I need to pray to have a boyfriend like that just fall into my lap? Congratulations. Congratulations. You gotta be happy, you lucky girl. This kind of love that grows over time is so much better than the fast food style relationships we have now. It's a rare treasure. So hard to come by. I laughed out loud at these comments. Fusu asked me to accompany him to the last class of love aesthetics. I asked doubtfully, me going with you? Fusu held my hand. I feel this class will be quite meaningful. They've always wanted to meet you. Under his persistent persuasion, I agreed. I dressed up nicely and nervously walked into the classroom with him. The room immediately erupted in thunderous applause and cheers. Feeling a bit self-conscious, I sat to the side and glanced over the audience. In this final class, Fushi covered some concluding remarks. With 20 minutes to spare, he finished his lecture early. Now, I'd like to share a video with everyone. This is my girlfriend's first time seeing it, too. This is a video I've been working on for 3 years. I looked up at the big screen, my heart pounding uncontrollably. As soon as the video started playing, the audience fell silent. The text accompanying the video is, "Hello, Jiangze, this video is composed of many small clips. This is my first year studying for a PhD in France. Let me show you spring in London. You love spring the most, and you'll definitely like it. I came to eat your favorite onion soup alone. It's pretty good, and I'll learn to make it and cook it for you when I get back. It's summer here in France. You must be complaining about the heat all day long. Winter is here, and the first snow is falling. It's so romantic. I wish you were here. Happy birthday, Jiangze. You always said you weren't good looking, but I think you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Your 23rd year is too. Happy New Year, Jiangze. It's getting closer to the time I get to see you again. Here, I'll set off a firework for you." Over the past 3 years, he has recorded so many videos related to me. Everything seemed vibrant and full of life. By the end, I was a blubbering mess, Fusu said earnestly. In these 3 years, there hasn't been a single day I've forgotten you. I didn't understand what love was before, until I found myself loving you more each day. All the classmates here really like him. After class, everyone pulled us aside to take photos together. Fusu and I stood in the middle for a big group photo with everyone. They formed a circle around us, making heart signs with their hands behind our backs. Our classmates teased him. "Teacher Fu, don't forget to give us wedding sweets when you get married. We're practically witnesses to your love story. In my next life, I want to be as handsome and innocent as Teacher Fu, and then find a perfect love." Congratulations to Teacher Fu on finding love. So happy for you. A bespectacled boy asked from the side. "Teacher Fu, do you like boys or girls in the future?" Fusu just smiled. "I like both. I hope the girl looks like her. She must be a very beautiful girl, but she doesn't really like kids, and I will fully respect her. As long as the two of us can be together, that's enough." When I got back, I realized my makeup was all smeared from crying. He led me into the lounge, knelt down a little, and gently wiped my cheeks with a tissue. "Your eyes are all puffy from crying. This is all your fault. Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" Fusu pressed the pad of his finger under my eye and smiled. "It really is my fault. I willingly accept the punishment." He crouched in front of me, looking up at me with bright eyes. I cupped his cheeks and kissed him directly. Fusu was momentarily stunned, following my rhythm. Both of us were inexperienced in kissing. I let go of him only when we were both on the verge of running out of breath. Fusu sat down beside me and gently rested my head on his shoulder. I said, "Didn't it ever cross your mind that I might refuse you?" Fusu patted the back of my hand softly. "It did, so I prepared myself for the worst. And even for the possibility of just being friends for life. You fool, how could I possibly be content to be just friends with you for a lifetime, extra?" That year, when Fusu graduated from high school, Jiangze was heartbroken for a long time. That year, he was in his 3rd year of high school, and she was only in her 1st year. During that time, they were in a cold war over a trivial matter. As Fusu's graduation ceremony approached, Jiangze began to regret arguing with him that day when taking graduation photos. The school set up a large wish wall for each class, a tradition said to be held every year. As long as you post your wish on it, it will come true. The board was already covered in sticky notes, but even after Jiangze meticulously searched through them several times, he couldn't find Fusu's. Jiangze secretly took a sticky note and spent a long time thinking about what wish to make. Finally, in his own scrawling handwriting, he wrote, "First, I hope he stops being mad at me. Second, I hope he gets into his dream university. Third, I hope I can get first place on this exam and stop holding everyone back, Jiangze obediently kept to the corner, making sure not to get in the way of anyone else's wishes that day. Fusu went to her class and took the initiative to take a few photos with her. Patching things up, Jiangze said happily, "I promise I'll never argue with you again, I swear. If I do, may you never find chopsticks when